You want to see the meeting? Welcome to the structures meeting for January 28th, which that definitely says. Today, I'll be recapping what was said in the last meeting, elaborating a little bit on what we're doing for the boat tail today, discussing the centering rings, a little bit more about the MMM idea, talking more about the justification document, and the assignments that we had last week, as well as like 2 others. So just kind of recapping, we are waiting on the airframes to come in, but they should come in within the next like week and a half. We are using Oberon's bulkheads, couplers, and nose cone. The nose cone is not the one that we had originally selected. It's a 4-1 OGIV. I'm waiting on a final CAD from the avionics and recovery teams so we can get a better idea of what all is going to be going on the bulkhead. And the payload bulkhead just isn't changing as far as I know. They said they'd let me know if that changes at all. Eason is currently machining the motor block for us. I should have that within the next week or so. IA Coatings agreed to do our final paint job, but we can't send it off to them or really meet with them until we have our criteria set and have drilled the holes. We have an additional meeting time, Saturdays 2 to 5, if need be. That time will probably be mostly used for online meetings to talk about the assignments that people have been given. So we have a separate time for that. And I am not recording past the meeting slides. So once we go through the slides for the meetings and we've kind of discussed the things that pertain to the meeting, I'll then end it and I can kind of talk more in detail about any assignments, set up any meeting times to talk about those assignments, and just kind of talk about more in detail about what we're doing today in the lab. Okay, so as far as the boat tail goes, the CAD was completed, but the print that went along with that CAD ended up a little undersized. So she doesn't quite fit, but we can use it as a practice for kind of what we're trying to achieve with it. I don't have the fiberglass sheets. They were supposed to come in last Sunday and last Wednesday, but there was a bit miscommunication. They ended up being shipped to campus. And if y'all know, campus has that like delay on packages where they need to like verify the package and everything. So we will have to wait. Hopefully I will have that for next meeting, along with a better idea about what exactly is going on with the boat tail. We were also, Gustavo was mentioning how instead of doing one solid boat tail, doing 2 halves instead, and then we can just directly put that onto like one of these sheets of wood that we have over here, and then kind of use that as our base instead of having to make like the parting board and having it sit perfectly between. And then as far as what we're doing in the lab today, we're going to go ahead and fill in some of the divots with the with some of the stuff we have over there. Then we can kind of like sand it, try make it sand any of like the added stuff we put on, try to get it nice and smooth. And then go and use the primer we have back there. And that's as far as we can really get today, since we won't have the sheets at all, which is a little sucky, but it's okay. And then we also need to look into purchasing PVA parting film and chopped fibers. I found 2 potential websites we can get them from, but that was kind of just, quick search. I didn't get the chance to really like sit down and, look at pricing, shipping times, things like that. So that will need to be done. For centering rings, we're probably just going to do wood as we've done in the past. We can just laser cut them. I think Dom said something's wrong with his laser cutter, but I think he said he still has a friend who has one if we need it. We would need to verify the dimensions that we want for those rings. Even though the wooden one we may only need 1 of them, because the one like top one is going to be the motor block, which we're machining with Eason, and then 2 of the bottom ones are attached or like are going to be helping with the MMM. So we would need to determine what material that needs to be, which I feel like may not end up being wood. But we would need to verify how many fasteners we're going to need on the wooden centering ring, and also kind of get a better plan for the threaded inserts. Oh, and then also kind of just looking at the old rings to kind of see how that was all set up. For Randy's MMM idea, I know we mentioned it last week, but we need to go ahead and get an actual CAD for that MMM idea, just so it's easier to visualize and we can kind of start thinking about dimensions and start getting things machined if need be, and you know how much surface area we need so we can buy the materials for that. As I'd said last week, we're most likely doing carbon fiber for the fins and then carbon fiber sheets to kind of make one solid fin canister that would be replaceable. And then potentially printing an aligner if we think we're gonna need it. And then I still have the link for Randy's level 3 cert, which is where he had originally used this idea. I will say that there isn't like super clear like pictures or anything about the way that he applied it. So we may need to reach out to him a little more if we are unclear about certain things. As far as the justification document goes, I know we didn't really get started on it last week because I never posted the link for it or really gave clear directions. So here's the link for it. The plan for that is we can go through and pretty much list every single component, like from the nose cone to the back of the boat tail, and just be like, okay, nose cone, what is it like? How many fasteners does it need? What material is it made out of? What links pertain to the nose cone for that decision that was made? Do we need to verify the strength for something about it? And just kind of go through, and if we can't answer those questions, then we'll need to answer them most likely for spaceport. So it would be really helpful to kind of have that all in one place so we can have a really good idea as to our justification. And that document can very easily be used by future teams so they can look back and say, okay, well, we need to pick out a nose cone. What was kind of like the reasoning that they picked that nose cone? Oh, okay, that's what they did. Oh, cool, like they have this whole document for the drag. That's how they calculated it. It's just gonna be a really good resource for us and for those who are sticking with the team. So I figure we can talk after the meeting ends and kind of just divvy up who wants to do like the such and such parts and just kind of go through and list ideas based on the people who have already agreed to do the document. And then you would just need to kind of get that done at some point throughout the next week. And then if we don't have an answer to something, go ahead and just like highlight it in red. And if we do have an answer for something, but you're not like entirely confident as to the answer, you can highlight that as well. And we can go through at some point and just sit down and look at that document. As far as assignments go, this is what we had. I already deleted the Brandon making the Google Sheet because I'm sure that y'all already saw the COVID thing was posted because he was already able to knock that out for us. Thank you, Brandon. For bill of materials, I'll go ahead and start. I have a few things updated in there, but obviously we're still deciding things. So that's kind of like a constant update. Is here more so just as a reminder to me that I'm looking at it. Donald wasn't able to join us today, but he said that he is looking at carbon fiber cloth pricing tonight, and he would get me sent some options by tomorrow morning. Hong and Win, I don't know how far y'all got on the fasteners, but
well, so far we're still reading the document like last time you guys did for Operam, and try to things like what can we do differently from that one. But mostly just review the old document and then also the textbook for machine design before we can write out anything. But hopefully we can have something turn in for you like next week, like written things, not just like talking, you know.
Okay, and then I'll go ahead and send you and Huang like a more divvied up sheet, or I can even put that under the justification, and then y'all can just have like your own links to a separate document for like the actual, you probably won't need to do a full, yeah, you may need to do like something similar to a trade study for them just to like show that you've done the analysis for it. We'll determine how in detail that needs to be. But like, I'll go ahead and tell y'all what all we're really needing fastener calculations for. And then you can always reach out and ask for any specifications as to like, oh, okay, like what material is this? You know, where is this located if you're not sure?
Okay, yes, please. I mean, whatever requirements that you think you want to see, just list it out first so we can, just say a little bit of time. We don't have to wandering around and thinking what should we put on the document.
Yeah, not a problem. I mean, you can even stick around a little bit after the meeting ends and I'll just go ahead and list those out for you and you can just, I don't know if you're driving right now, but I can just type them up and send it to you, but then I can tell you at the same time.
Right, I'm still driving. I think I can reach campus around like 30 minutes because the traffic is still really bad now.
Yeah, not a problem. I mean, you just stop by for a little bit. We're not at 5 in the lab, so you're still welcome to join.
Okay, I'll let you know when I reach though.
Okay, we'll do. As far as the justification document goes, these are the people that are listed as agreeing to work on it. We can divvy up after the meeting as to who wants to do what. And then I can even just like go through the document and kind of show y'all like an example of kind of what I'm expecting. But so far that's Donald, Ben, Lynn, and Ali. 3 of y'all are here right now, so that can work pretty well. And then Ben, you can go ahead and update us as far as what analysis has said about the fins.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
So their team is still going over different design options. One thing that they're looking at doing is adding, if you know what the Concorde jet is, if you look at the wings on the Concorde jet, they're looking at implementing a similar style of that kind of wing to the current fin design that we're looking at doing. And then also Omar on analysis is trying to work on calculations for the landing of the rocket, how much force the fins can take. I'm pretty sure is what he's trying to figure out. I know that Gustavo had calculations that they're working on, that they're looking at and using that as like what is it, like a template on their own calculations. That's
Gotcha.
pretty much all they're doing. Oh, and they're also using a program called Aero Fin Sim to test their fin designs.
For like the fin flutter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and that's pretty much all.
And then do they have an idea as to like when they're trying to finalize that at all?
They were thinking about this upcoming Monday, at least for the calculations of the fins, like the landing. I don't know about the designs and everything, but it was looking like sometime next week. But I don't know if they're finalizing on that or not.
And then feel free at any point to message anyone on analysis and then just kind of either like offer your help or just ask if there's anything else that wasn't covered in the meeting that like went into the process or anything.
Okay, yeah. I'll get in touch with maybe Ravi.
Yeah, and if it's not Ravi who's like leading that, he'll definitely tell you who you can reach out to. So
okay, cool.
As far as the Zenith CAD goes, we sent them the CAD for the boat tail. I don't know how accurate the rest of the components are on that CAD. I still need to see if it's actually like the updated CAD that they have on there, or if it's just I guess just like one they have that they did a couple of months ago or something. So I still need to kind of look at that. And then we need CADs for the MMM and centering rings. We have kind of a rough idea for dimensions for the centering rings, just kind of based on old ones, but then we would still need justification as to like how thick we make them. And then of course, eventually the fasteners and yeah, things among that type, like what material we're using, but that is something that needs to be divvied up. And then we can either meet Friday, like after today's meeting, or tomorrow during sometime during our 2 to 5 online lab time, which would just be like over Zoom. You wouldn't have to meet me in person at all. So yeah, as far as assignments go, I think I'm good with leaving all of these up since they're not completed yet. I can put this here to remind myself to message him today. As far as the CADs go, they are not going to be done within the next week, but we can at least start them within the next week. So who would like to assist with CADs? Okay. Yeah, pretty much. I think the way that a CAD for the MMM is going to work is we're going to pretty much CAD the fins individually and then CAD like the body tube that like they would be attached onto. And then you would just kind of combine that as one assembly file. Yeah. And then that would be kind of our one thing. And then we could always send that CAD to analysis so they can add it onto theirs. Is like the big thing is they need it on their files. And then would anyone else like to help with the CADs? We would probably hop on a Zoom call to kind of discuss dimensions and kind of play around with the software. I know we're probably going to have him there to help. And then this is definitely something I need to be working on as well. So yeah, that is what we have for CAD so far. As I've said before, if there's any other assignments that you see that are already listed and you want to be a part of them or look into them a little bit closer, just let me know. And you can reach out to these people or you can reach out to me and I'll go ahead and put you on the assignment as well. So you are always free to do that. I think I will go ahead and end today's meeting here after whatever questions that y'all have about today's meeting. Don't everyone go speaking at once.
No questions here.
As far as another print goes, I think we'll try to have it by next meeting, as long as what we try to do today goes smoothly. Yeah, pretty much just testing to see if it's actually going to be like a good base. So that will be what we do today. And then depending on that, we'll kind of decide like, is it worth it to go forward with this print? Do we want to go with another method? Do we want to split it in half? Do we want to try to get a different material? Yeah. And then I forgot to write it at the end. Does anyone want to look into pricing at all for either of these? Okay, well, that's actually okay because Jordan told me to let him know if there was any extra assignments that needed to get done. So I'll just go ahead and send both of these his way and ask if he's cool with doing that since he'd asked if there's anything to do. So that works. And that should be fine. Alrighty, if that is all for today's meeting, I will end the recording, but not end the meeting. And then we can kind of talk more in detail about any of the things that we discussed.